Another change, urbanization. So I know and appreciate that you have chosen this topic to cover in depth, which to me is a very important topic. More and more people will be living in cities, for sure. Okay. Already there are some in China that cities, more than 100 cities with populations of 1 million or more. Mumbai currently has a population, actually now has grown more than 19 million. Soon, just one city alone will have the population bigger than the whole of Australia. So there is growing urbanization. So when we talk about growing urbanization, again, a lot of services will be required in cities that are growing bigger and bigger and bigger, including messenger services will be very, very important. So demographic, there are a lot of changes happening there. Of course, economic changes. Asia is becoming very, very important, but do not underestimate Africa, for example. Okay. China will be the world's largest economy in time to come. US may be second, and India will be third. So large places with big economic growth as well. And if you were to try to spot what are some of the future economic winners, you will find that I did not name Thailand or Singapore here. Thailand is already very successful. So I'm not naming future economic winners. Already has happened, Vietnam, for example. Per capita income have increased 5 times. Young labor force. And the government aims to make it an industrial country by 2020. So, growing very fast. What other possible Asian tigers? Possibly Myanmar. So Myanmar, they have the world's 10th largest known natural gas reserves, extremely rich resources, okay, long coastline, okay, and their culture, the people are industrious, outward-looking. So looking at future trends, we also have to look at it economically. Where do we want to expand our businesses, for example? Another trend will be natural, physical changes. So when we talk about the natural environment, unfortunately, we were hit by the tsunami, and this was the worst natural disaster. About 250,000 of people died. And you may recognize that this is Phuket. But of course, the worst hit was Aceh when this happened some 10 years ago. The city of Aceh almost wiped out. I visited that city 1 year later. Even 1 year later, it was still devastated. Of course, not too long ago, Japan was hit by an earthquake that created a tsunami, and this tsunami was really devastating, destroyed a lot of things, and of course, affect the nuclear generation plant. So why would I mention about this? Some entrepreneurs came out with a great idea. Because of the damage to the nuclear reactors, Japan had to conserve its energy. So in other words, air conditioning, everything has to be reduced. And one interesting entrepreneur came up with a new innovation. And what is this new innovation? Air-conditioned coats. Actually, you don't need to air condition the whole room to make a person feel cool. Tables and chairs don't need air conditioning. It's only human beings. And that's why he came out with these air-conditioned coats. So what I would call is identifying, looking at the changes in the business landscape can create great ideas for businesses. It's already happening. The ice cap is melting, the Arctic ice cap. it is anticipated that by 2030, the ice cap in the Arctic will melt sufficiently for ships to travel from Europe to Northeast Asia without going through the Straits of Malacca. So what it means is that who will want to go through the Straits of Malacca, which is such a long distance? It's better to go across the Arctic. And South Korea is already making plans because it is geographically well located to tap on to this melting ice cap. Okay. If you don't believe that there is global warming is happening, you can see the changes over time about global warming. Happening very fast. So this will be another trend. Development of green energy sources will be a very, very important area. Solar energy, for example, a lot of new entrepreneurs are looking into that area because there will, with a growing population and then with climate change, there will be a need for looking into cleaner energy sources. Okay. So you can see how solar power is developing. Now, interestingly, when we talk about the changes in the natural environment, that there will be a growing water shortage. So this is quite interesting. I just want to show this. So what will be the impact of a water shortage? One of the biggest impact is actually on rice. Now, why would I use this as an example? Is rice important? Some people will say, well, it's okay, without rice, I can eat potatoes. You can. I can, but only for 3 days. After that, I will still have to look for rice. When I go overseas for travel, after a few days, if I don't have rice, I feel like I cannot live anymore. So rice will be very, very important. Price of rice will rise significantly, especially growing water shortages. Asian nations are advised to stock up on rice because Asians consume a lot of rice. So this came from a newspaper write-up about that. And high rice prices can have a significant wealth redistribution. As much as oil has a significant wealth distribution. 100 years ago, the Middle East countries were all still very poor. It was the Industrial Revolution, it was the growth of industries that require oil, that the oil price went up tremendously. But of course, today with alternative sources of energy, that has an impact on the demand for oil. But rice, so if there is a water shortage, price of rice will go up, and if the price of rice goes up, it will have a significant redistribution. So who are the countries that will benefit? Who are the countries that will be really hard hit by it? And it is significant, as I mentioned, because most Asians will need to consume rice. So Indonesia and the Philippines will be net losers because they are the world's big rice importers. Okay. Vietnam, India, and Thailand, they will gain as they are the world's biggest rice exporters. So you have a very, very promising future. Very promising future. Other changes. So in each of these dimensions, there are various trends happening. And of course, technology. Alvin Toffler from MIT has mentioned that technology is the wave of the future. So when we talk about technological changes, in so many areas. So just an example, if we were to talk about wearables, a lot of areas where you see technological changes happening. So it will not be possible to cover all areas of technological changes, but at least highlight some of the important areas. So let me just show as an example. It will not be too long when the battery in our laptops, the next generation will not believe that is a battery. They will think it's some kind of a brick, because batteries will be as thin as paper. For those who are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Maslow has 5 needs: psychological, safety and social, esteem, self-actualization. But because Maslow was born and lived in a different age, if Maslow were to be alive today, he would probably have changed his model. He would have added one more, and that is called Wi-Fi. Without Wi-Fi, we will almost die, right? We will lose our sense of identity. We will lose our personality. The world will collapse around us. That just shows how fast technology has changed. So today we are guided by technology, right? Ding! Automatic reaction. Ding! We will press, right? If you don't press, some discomfort. It has changed so much. And Bill Gates, I have a lot of respect for him because he is never complacent. So it is very important in businesses that we must never be complacent, however successful we are. We must never be overconfident, must never be arrogant, must always be willing to learn. And Bill Gates has always said, in 3 years, every product my company made will be obsolete. That's why in the marketing sessions that I have, I always share this with various people. Kill your products. It's an irony. Why do I say kill your products? If you have a very successful product today, think about ways to kill that before your competitors kill it. It's better that you kill it with an even better product. So Microsoft, very clever, always come up with a new product that will kill their existing product, because we must continuously innovate and improve. We know one product can stay long for too far long. So Bill Gates has said, in 3 years, every product that I make will be obsolete. The only question is whether we make them obsolete or somebody else will. And he says, one day an eager upstart will put Microsoft out of business. I just hope that it's 50 years from now, not 2 or 5. Heard of Netscape? So a number of us have heard about Netscape. Talk to the next generation about Netscape, they will say net what? So, as what we always say, change before we have to change. Technology is moving so much. If you are running an airline in Taiwan, your business will be killed. Because today there is the high-speed train, which yesterday there wasn't. If you are running an airline business in Taiwan, you probably would not have foreseen that your business could be killed because of the technological change. And when we talk about high-speed trains, today the fastest is the one running from Pudong Airport to Shanghai, traveling at 440 kilometers an hour. And technology is a German technology, it's a maglev technology. Actually, when you run a maglev train at 440 kilometers an hour, which is fast because generally a car travels 100 kilometers an hour. So if you are running 440 kilometers an hour, it is fast. But it is an insult to the maglev technology when you are running it at 440 kilometers an hour. It is an insult. It's almost like somebody giving you a Ferrari to drive, and you drive at 20 kilometers an hour. That is an insult to the Ferrari technology. Because a maglev train can go a lot faster. China is developing a 1,000 kilometers per hour maglev high-speed train. Today, a plane average speed 900 kilometers an hour. So this is going to be even faster. And that is still not the limit of the maglev technology. According to a Discovery Channel program, a maglev train, if you put it in a tunnel and you withdraw air out of that tunnel, in other words, it's a vacuum, a maglev train can travel up to 15,000 kilometers an hour. 15,000 kilometers an hour means from Britain to Thailand will only be 1 hour. 15,000 kilometers an hour. So technology fund a lot of changes. When we talk about technological changes, digitalization is very important, but in so many areas. So the next big competitor to Toyota might not be the Honda, might not be the BMW. It may be Apple, it may be Google. Because Google is looking into a driverless car. Why want to drive when you don't have to drive, when you can sit in a driverless car, a car that can bring you from point A to point B with sensors all around to tell it where to go, avoid accidents, and so on. So these are being looked into. Okay. And of course, smart cities. Many countries are now jumping onto the bandwagon of smart cities. India has already announced that they are going to build 100 smart cities. So when we talk about smart cities, everything smart. House, cars, healthcare, infrastructure, even governments. So quite dangerous, right? If the Inland Revenue Department, the tax department becomes so smart, they may deduct money from your bank account and calculate all the tax for you without even really having you to fill in the income tax form. So sometimes we may really rely a lot on technology, right? This picture shows your X-ray showed a broken rib, but we fix it with Photoshop. So don't worry. I just show you two more on the light-hearted, joking side about technology. When we rely too much on technology, nurse, get on the internet, go to surgery.com, scroll down and click on the "Are you totally lost?" icon. Tomorrow's doctors may depend so much on technology that once the technology doesn't work, they are totally lost. Sometimes when you fly, I also get a bit frightened. A lot of pilots rely on autopilot, right? Relying too much on autopilot, in the end, you don't know whether they fly it or the technology fly the plane. Okay. And the next one I show is a favorite that I show to my students.